Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 221 for Friday, September 25th, 2009. And the film I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is Surrogates. This film is directed by Jonathan Mostow, who is also the director who did U-571 and the third Terminator film, which is considered by most to be the absolute worst. I think you might know where I'm already going with this review. It stars Bruce Willis, Radha Mitchell, James Cromwell, and Ving Rhames. And no, Marcellus Wallace does not look like a bitch in this movie. That was the lamest joke ever. Surrogates is basically a sci-fi film about the future where everybody in society has something called a surrogate, which is basically this very futuristic robot, and you basically live your life through the robot. So you plug yourself in, and the robots go out and they do everything, and people become reliant on this technology. However, somebody, a human, kills one of these two robots, and they're supposed to be unkillable. You know, you can shoot them, you can fly, you could slam into walls, you won't really hurt yourself. But this person has some gun that erases an identity chip. So Bruce Willis sets out to try to find out who did it and why and what the purpose is and that sort of thing. Surrogates has an interesting premise, I think, and I think the first thing I wanted to say as I was watching this is I was like, this is kind of like Gamer, and people kind of hated on Gamer, and I think Gamer does a lot of things better than Surrogates does, which I'll get into in a second. But the premise is interesting. I think the concept that America is so involved in technology that the future is basically going to evolve into something where we are just so consumed with our computers and technology that that's how we live, is just through technology and no human face-to-face interaction, which I think is interesting. There's also a lot of interesting things that they do to the surrogates, which is like humans. They do something called jacking, which is basically like getting high. They basically put something in the neck and shock themselves. There's also some surrogates that are getting like Botox, but it's not Botox obviously because they're robots, but that's what it looks like. And it's kind of comical, I guess, to see that even though these people aren't humans, they're still doing the same things that we as humans would have normally done. But we're reliant on technology to do it now. Aside from that, there's really not anything for me to like about Surrogates. It's very bland and blasé. The first 40 to 45 minutes of this film, I was actually pretty bored. I think the intro does a nice little setup of the backstory and everything, but it's all very boring, and the acting is very just bland and cardboard cutout, and I understand the reason for that being that they are robots and they're trying to act robotic. Their skin looks really smooth, but it's not very interesting to watch or look at. There's a few action pieces to this film, but they're nothing extraordinary, and it's nothing that you haven't already seen before done better. And I think by the end of this film I just really didn't care anymore. I think the ending could have said so much about, you know, about us as a society and how reliant we are on this technology. I think one of the things that I really liked about Gamer is that the world that they created in the game society in Gamer, which is basically like The Sims, is so strange and messed up, and I think Gamer explores how we would have acted sexually in this sort of situation, or how people would have lived crazy, insane lives if they had the choice to do anything and not die. And I think Surrogates doesn't really explore that well enough. I mean, people still have normal jobs. People are still working behind desks and cubicles, and it's like, if you could just live your life through a surrogate, why would you want to do that? I don't understand that. And I think there's just so much more that could be explored with this type of genre, and I think it's yet to be done. The acting is all pretty bad too in this film. I think Bruce Willis is a decent actor, but he's not really showcasing his chops at all in this film. There's a twist that happens kind of in the middle of the film. I was already too out of this movie to even care anymore about the twist. All in all, I would just really not recommend Surrogates to anybody. I give Surrogates a 2 out of 5. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with actually a good movie for you guys to review, so stay tuned.